we have a face that you guys know. Shannon Scheller is going to be our special guest tonight. Normally, she is our mediator, but tonight she's also going to be our guest of honor. And Shannon, Shannon is just a wealth of knowledge and brings so much to this organization. We're so lucky to have her, not only because she throws events that take over her entire life for a month, but just the knowledge that she brings to this community. So, Shannon, I will let you take it from there. I'm going to pin you. But I know you wanted me to tell everybody that this is going to be a little bit different. We really want you guys to all participate and share your knowledge. So feel free to take yourself off mute and interject or ask questions or give your own thoughts on anything that we cover tonight. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you introduce yourself? So sorry.
Me?
Oh,
not
I
Shannon.
probably should have. So I'm Dana Hinton. I'm the executive director here at KICKcancER. I'm sorry. I think most of your faces I recognize, so I didn't even think I needed to. I've been with this organization for actually almost a year, and I think a week, it'll be a year. So I run all things KICKcancER, from fundraising to your email blasts and text messages you get to our grants and all that good stuff.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, so we're going to be basically diving into ways to reduce treatment-induced side effects, and mostly how that's correlated with the Kickstart Kit, because that's really what KICKcancER wants to do, is be able to get things into your hands to help you during and after treatment. Because while there's just countless treatments and protocols out there, multiple different ones for cancer, optimal health is truly only foundational. So when we're looking at the foundation of our health, if we only do chemotherapy and radiation, likely if we haven't changed anything, that cancer could potentially come back. And I do know that ultimately that is in the good Lord's hands for sure. And so many of you, even on this call, I know have done everything that you can, and sometimes it still comes back. But I think that there are a lot of things that the Lord has created and put on this earth for us to be able to use. And I think it's unwise to not be able to use those things during treatment just to support our children as they're walking through this. Because conventional treatments wreak havoc not only on healthy cells, but the bad cells, right? The things that we want to get rid of. So much so that, in fact, one of the side effects of receiving chemo is a secondary cancer. So not only do we want to mitigate and reduce treatment-induced side effects during treatment, but long-term side effects as well. So this is basically, I'm just going to read this out loud. The content being presented today is for educational purposes only and does not substitute professional medical advice or consultations with healthcare professionals. So I just wanted to make that loud and clear. And then all these points that I'm going to be going over, all of these can be a Zoom on its own, like an hour educational Zoom on its own. And so while I'm going through these, I'm actually going to have Dana probably put in the chat links to other videos that coincide with what I'm talking about and go into it in a little bit more depth. But this is just touching the surface and giving you overall basic ideas here. So let's see. And then once again, just to say, as you're looking at this list, it's probably popping up things in your mind that maybe you've tried during treatment so far. And because this video is going to be posted on our YouTube channel and available for parents in the future to watch, we just want to make sure that they get as many examples that maybe you've tried at home that I don't go over. So for the first one, it says, this is one of my favorite quotes. It's by Hippocrates, "Let food be thy medicine." And here you're going to have some examples of some of the things that are inside the Kickstart Kit. Because number one, nutrition plays a crucial role in enhancing the body's resilience while maintaining strength and energy. A lot of times during treatment, you're going to see so many kids that are lethargic, that are pale, maybe even gray, and not keeping up with their strength and energy. And a lot of that has to do with the nutrition content. Vitamins, antioxidants, and so forth that they may not be getting. So number two, it helps to fortify the immune system, right? So we want to reduce inflammatory foods, which will allow the body to rebound more quickly, right? My daughter's experience with that was she was really quickly rebounding, and the doctors and nurses were constantly coming back saying, it doesn't look like she's just had 5 bags of chemotherapy today. Like, so I don't know what you're doing, but continue to do it and tell others. And so here we are. But number 3 helps the body to even respond better to treatment. So allowing the chemotherapy to be more effective. So nutrition is not just, eating all your veggies and all your fruit, but making sure that we're not eating the things that are highly inflammatory. And a lot of times in treatment, I heard quite the opposite from some of our nurses, which was disheartening, because they would tell us, just eat whatever they want. Every calorie is a good calorie. I'm sure some of you have experienced those words yourself. Their biggest concern is that they just don't want them to lose weight. But as we see here, a lot of things play a role in their health. And she never lost weight on top of that. So if I were to just break it down, mind you, this is a whole hour conversation in itself, right? But we'll just say reduce refined sugar. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to reduce your berries or anything like that, but refined sugar is important, and all of the names that it comes in: maltodextrin, sucrose, sucralose. Reduce processed foods and increase whole foods. I know that's very just generic. And again, you can find so many videos to support that on our YouTube channel. And then Susan Johnson, the founder of KICKcancER, also has a lot of podcasts and blogs in regards to what types of foods to feed your child during this time. But ultimately, if you can't read the ingredients, your body won't know what to do with them either, right? I mean, doesn't that make sense? So we had Autumn from Paleo Valley on, I think it was one of our first Thrive Together talks. And she went through a lot of foods that are highly processed and different options. And of course, Paleo Valley is one of our donors as well. So they put in the beef sticks that were on this previous screen here that are fermented, and they don't have all the preservatives in there. They're from grass-fed cows and so forth. So we'll try and get that link up in the chat if you wanted to watch Autumn's video as well. Has anyone else heard those words from their oncologist, that every calorie is a good calorie? Just eat anything you want. I'm getting a thumbs up from Missy. I can't see everybody's face here because of screen share, but I heard that echoed throughout the floor. It's very disappointing. All right. Reducing toxins in our environment. If you did not catch last month's talk, that was with Missy Brooks, who's actually on today. So reducing toxins in our environment is so important. They're being loaded with chemotherapy and radiation, which is hard enough. So we don't want to be overloaded by all the other fragrances and just preservatives and so forth. So anything that you can change inside your home, I get it. You can't change what's, inside the hospital, that they're using bleach all around you, right? You can't change some of those things. However, inside the Kickstart kit, we provide a lip lotion option so that replace that instead of having the lip balms that have the synthetics and the flavors, right? Because your kids are licking that and consuming it, and their lips definitely need to be moisturized during this time. So I love the lip balm that's in there. If you have any teenagers that are getting into the stinky stages, there's a deodorant in there without the aluminum, which is incredibly important. If you don't have a teenager, mom, that's for you. There's an On Guard hand sanitizer. Those hand sanitizers are just awful. They have neurotoxins in them that also ruin your microgut biome. And so it not only kills the the bad bacteria, but the good bacteria as well. So then you're more prone to opportunistic infections, right? So we still want to focus on the good bacteria in our gut. And then it also has the cleaner options so that we can at least manage our home without having all those other cleaners in our home. So these are some great options. On the side, I did highlight some things that you can just look at or take a picture of. This might not be a time to get new furniture. And if you do, maybe allowing that new furniture to off gas outside for a week or two before you bring it inside your home, right? Non-stick cookware is not optimal. You're wanting to use, what's the word? I'm missing all the words. Stainless steel and cast iron. So those are the top ones. And then Le Creuset is a great option. Does anybody use those pans? No, I think everyone's afraid to unmute themselves.
I
Shan,
use all of those.
You do?
Yes.
She's like, I use all the things.
I use all the things.
What was the
Yeah.
brand that you just mentioned, Shannon?
Le Creuset.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
It's beautiful. It's from France.
I'm gonna write it down.
It's also very expensive.
It is. Christmas
Christmas is
presents.
coming.
Christmas presents.
Yes.
And I just wanted to add on here. I just wanted to add. I'm putting some of the links on the right hand side, but all of this, like if I can email it to anybody, or it's also on our website. But like Missy's, her soap shop, she offers a discount. So there's KICKcancER codes. And then I put the link in for Paleo Valley. And if you order from, so all these links are on our website. If you order through KICKcancER, or if you click our link, they all give kickbacks to us too. So if you want to be able to give back to KICKcancER just by clicking that link and ordering through our link, it gives us a kickback. And most of them give you guys a discount as well. Because like, I know like Primally Pure, like I use a lot more than just their deodorant. And obviously the soap shop too. So if you guys use any of their products, like even if it's not one of these listed, just do us a favor and click through the KICKcancER link. Give us a little kickback.
So I will say, can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, Erin got me this Mauvial 1830. I don't know if you can see this, but it's also like a stainless steel. It's also from France, but he got it on Amazon Prime. And right now, Prime Day is still going on.
Yes.
So that might be on there, but also I just wanted to share this. We use this like chainmail to clean them, and it's so helpful. It's way better than those like nylon brushes. So you can just get like a little 2-pack of chainmail to clean your stuff, and you don't have to be careful because you can't scratch it up. You know, it's not like non-stick. So I actually kind of like it. You can get some aggression out.
Actually, thank you, Missy, because those chainmails, they've actually been on my list for a while, and I forgot that it was Amazon Prime Day. I've been waiting for it, so thanks for the reminder, because I'm like, yes, it is, because 17th to the 19th, I think. No, I'm off on my days. It goes for 3 days. 7th to the 9th, maybe? Okay.
I think it's only today and yesterday. I don't think it goes past today. I think it's just today and yesterday.
That sounds like Kara. Hi, Kara.
Yes, it's me.
Can I weigh in something about the antioxidant like foods and stuff?
Yes, please.
Okay, so a friend of mine who's going through other like stuff, her own health issues, she told me she went on Chat GPT and said, create a meal plan for me that, and she spit out her expectations. And so if you went on Chat GPT and just said, give me a meal plan that's whatever it is, like high in antioxidants, you know, blah, blah, blah. And once it spits it out, you can tell it to further refine. I've not tried it, but she said it gave her like a legit meal plan. So
I love that. Thank you. What a
Yeah.
great way to use GPT. I'm not a huge fan of technology and where that's going, but to use it for something like that is very much needed, because people are always saying, you know, I have a picky eater, they don't like this and they don't like that, and you can actually kind of make that your own with Chat GPT. So great idea. Okay, so rebounding. Okay, so lymph contains lymphocytes that fight germs, foreign substances, and cancer, right? It takes all the toxins that build up and flushes them out. But our lymph, unlike our heart, it actually doesn't have a pump. And so we need to do that by moving. And a lot of times our kids are bedbound, right? Most of the time it's from chemo, but a lot of times too, it's from the treats that are given in hospital. You know, every time they go to get their blood done, that they want to offer them a sucker, or they want to offer them, you know, and then of course the hospital food is not fantastic. So we have to prepare ahead of time, but we want to encourage them to get out of bed. So our lymph does become stagnant when we move less, but jumping helps to stimulate it. So you're probably not going to have a rebounder or a small trampoline available in the hospital, right? But for our daughter, we actually took her around the floor and encouraged her with music and did some lunges, and we kept some people up late at night because they made her sleep during the day.
I concur.
That was Erica. So, but what are some things that maybe you've done to encourage your kid to move that's actually worked, whether they're young or teenagers? Missy, I know your son has definitely bounced back and he's kind of regaining his own autonomy and wanting to work out more. So I don't know if there's a difference. I've never had a teen going through treatment versus a toddler, right? So it's a different tactic for each.
Well, I can just say Emmett was 17 when he was first diagnosed. He's 18 now. But when he was hospital bound, he was just bored out of his mind. He's not one to sit around. So we actually walked on every single floor of the hospital, which all looks exactly the same, but that's what we did. We walked around. I do know in some pediatric, like I just found this out from someone else, at a certain age, they don't even let them leave the floor. But yeah, we just tried to walk. And then even when he didn't feel like it, he would go for walks when we got home, and just tried to start doing push-ups. And he really started with that, with body weight. It was a mental thing for him. He had to mentally be like, I was at my absolute beast mode strongest, and now I look like I did in middle school. And it took him a while to be able to start working out, because it was a mental thing. But he always will tell anybody going through cancer stuff, like, at least walk, rest when you need to, but you should get out and walk every day.
Yeah. We have Carter's pit crew. So Carter, his mom tags all the time whenever he's doing anything like infrared sauna or rebounding. So it was just yesterday that she tagged us, and she's like, hey, the only way I get him to do it is because I promise that he can pick the music. As long as it's a clean version, he gets to pick what music he's going to jump to, or TV show, or whatever that is. So sometimes it's bargaining, and bargaining is not above me. So if anybody has any other options or solutions to getting your toddler to work out, feel free to speak about that. And otherwise, we have Diana Rudolph. She was on talking about movement and gave a lot of great options for encouraging movement during treatment. That's also on our YouTube channel. And then Dana can put that in the chat as well.
I was just going to say really quick, if you guys can hear me.
Yes, hi, Sherry.
Okay, hi. So with Era, she at first, when she was diagnosed, she lost all ability to walk on her legs. And so it was walking at first that kind of helped her rebound. But then we started jump roping as well. That was like a really great option for us. And then actually I had one rebounder last year. So she loves just jumping on that all the time. So those are just like fun ways for her to exercise that she doesn't even really think of exercising, you know. So I thought that was kind of a nice option too for jump roping.
And such a big deal too, to go from losing the ability to jump to then seeing her progress and being able to get on a trampoline or even liking to do jump roping. Like I have chills, like those, it's so difficult, but you have to like, I don't know, just being in that moment going, wow, this is a big deal.
Yeah. It's kind of heartbreaking that it has to be a big deal, you know, but it's such a reward to finally see them just be able to run around, you know, just and be it, you know, up to par again is nice.
Yeah. To getting that little childlike life back and playfulness and so forth. So yeah, absolutely.
So something I used to teach preschool and kindergarten. And so there's a ton of great stuff on YouTube. Like you can look up Just Dance videos or
I was going to say, yeah, the dance parties. That's what we did.
Yeah. So many, it's just like so easy to pull up and do. So, and they're fun.
Yeah. Get the whole family involved and have a huge dance party. It's amazing what sweat comes out after dancing for 10 minutes.
Absolutely. I love the Just Dance videos. My background is actually in dance. Haven't done that in a while. Okay, so moving on to essential oils. So essential oils are an amazing tool, which is why KICKcancER has placed 4 of them inside the kit. An essential oil is actually derived from an aromatic plant. But unlike drugs, it's in its natural state. So if you didn't know, majority of all drugs that are out there are actually trying to mimic what's from the earth and then taking it and separating it and then patenting it and in synthetic form, obviously, and then making money off of it. But the essential oils are going to be the whole form from the whole plant. So applying oils topically and diluted will actually allow these oils to enter the bloodstream within 30 seconds. There are hundreds of published studies on PubMed supporting the effectiveness of essential oils and human health. So if you are leery on using essential oils, feel free to look those up. And again, there's plenty of videos that well, actually, I don't know if those are still up on our YouTube channel. Maybe we'll have to do some more. But besides Tamer, so Tamer is in the Kickstart kit, and we actually used Digest Zen and Peppermint at the time because Tamer back then didn't exist. Tamer is the kids blend though. It has spearmint in it, which is a lot more mild versus Digest Zen, which has a licorice smell, which I can tell you is still not my favorite smell. I'm not a big black licorice fan, but that is what we used. And maybe it's trauma-based now. Like I just can't smell Digest Zen. It's not my favorite. But peppermint also works the same way. So we would actually diffuse peppermint and wild orange because it was uplifting for me, as well as breathing it could help with nausea. And then we would apply the Digest Zen topically over her belly to help with nausea. The great thing about that is while you're doing that to help with nausea, so they're not throwing up on the hour every hour, which is what they expected. This is my daughter, by the way, Paisley. So they expected her to throw up every hour on the hour. And so we had all these bags ready to go. And eventually they became her socks because we didn't need to use them, which was fantastic. And sadly, not the same story for a lot of our kids. So we used that, but the great thing along with using it for nausea is that she never had an issue with constipation, which then the hospital will prescribe Miralax. And if you were to look on the bottle of Miralax, it actually says that it has not been tested or studied for use in children. And yet that's the #1 prescription drug that they're giving our kids for constipation. So if we can even look at nutrition and then rolling into essential oils and supporting them, then we could possibly avoid some of these prescription drugs that aren't even studied for our kids, right? So has anybody else been able to use essential oils effectively? I am going to go over some of the other ones, but this is just one of them. Does anyone use them?
So we use Tamer as well. Emmett would come home like when he was getting, like they'd do the cytarabine, and that usually kicks in about 4-ish hours later. And I just remember one time he was sitting on the couch and he was like, Mom, I'm gonna get sick. And I jumped up and got the Tamer, and Cheyenne told us to put it on his chest so it would kind of waft up to his nose. And then because we have a soap shop, we have essential oils. So I just had a little container of peppermint, and we just open it up and like waft it in front of his face. And it really helped him to not get sick. Like it would make the nausea go away. So we also used a relief band. Are you guys familiar with those?
Mm-mm.
Kind of like a watch, and it is like clinically proven or whatever. Like they tested it to help with chemotherapy, nausea, and other like morning sickness and stuff. Someone gifted it to him, but I don't know what it does, but it's a watch like thing.
Does something. It worked.
I think it's like an acupressure point.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of pregnant women use it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good to know. So it's the relief band. Okay. And that's a good point as well, because I know some hospitals don't allow diffusers because they say that they harbor bacterial spores and mold and things like that because of improper cleaning. So if you're not able to use a diffuser, just allowing them still to breathe it even in the bottle or, from their chest or whatever it is, just in the hands. So cupping the hands over the face and teaching them to breathe. We've used some of those ways as well. Okay, so go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we also used oils for rest, relaxation, anxiety before getting accessed. Balance and Serenity were a go-to because there was major anxiety occurring with my child who was 7 at the time, 7, 8, 9. And also even lavender for like sleeping at night, or Serenity. They happen to be doTERRA ones, but like lavender based, and obviously for illness. And then we use a lot of frankincense just for healing.
And I do want to preface that with not all essential oils are created equal. So you do want to make sure that you're getting them from a good source and there's transparency and so forth, because you don't want to get fillers. So definitely don't be ordering your essential oils from Amazon, even if they say doTERRA, because a lot of times they've taken that bottle and put in synthetics and made, 50 more bottles with that one bottle. So just be careful where you're getting your essential oils from. All right, so this is Stronger. It's inside the Kickstart kit. This helps to provide immune support and healthy cell function. Also improves energy and gut health, which was new to me. I was like, oh, gut health. So we're gonna roll through these rather quickly just because I know we're gonna be getting short on time and I have couple more slides we want to get through. So this is Calmer essential oil. Erica was talking about a lot of anxiety that comes around getting accessed or scans or, blood draws or anything like that. And I can totally relate to that. I actually like I said, we didn't have Calmer back then, but there was a blend called Peace. And that is still Paisley's favorite calming, relaxing essential oil. She calls it her mask appointment oil. So her mask appointment is when they sedate her for her any MRI or anything. But instead of using the fragrance, whatever, because they allow the kids to put stickers on the mask, right? Which is totally fun. And they allow them to get some flavored, smelly lip balms to put inside the masks. Has anybody else ever been told to do that? Just me? Yeah, so they do this at our hospital in Orange County. So instead of the lip balms, I would always tell them, oh, Paisley brought her own relaxing fragrance. And they're like, ooh, what is that? And then the nurses would come in and like, ooh, this room feels so peaceful. And I'm like, exactly. So we want to create a mood that's stress-free when tensions are high and aiding in a restful night's sleep, which is almost impossible in the hospital rooms, but we just do the best that we can with the constant beeps and the constant checkups throughout the night. So this one is called the Rescuer Essential Oil Blend, reduces the feelings of tension for tired legs, sore joints, and muscles. There is also a deep blue stick that has copaiba in it that you can rub on the muscles as well. But this is the blend that comes inside the kit, so it just makes it really easy for application for those. All right, castor oil packs. So before cancer diagnosis, all I knew castor oil was used for was a laxative. So that is not what we are discussing here, because I do not need my kid to have any movements just like that. So the castor oil packs is talking about liver and lymphatic support. Okay, so this is actually a picture of Paisley, and this was in treatment actually at the hospital. So this is on the hospital bed, and it was really easy to pack and bring along with us. So you have your cotton flannel, you have your castor oil, you can add essential oils to it, like zendocrine essential oil or rosemary or juniper berry. So you can add any of those to it or just use it by itself. So keep it as simple as you can. If you need it simple, keep it simple. You can also put she called it her warm pack because we wanted to make it as cozy and comfortable as possible. And the hospitals are always cold. So we don't really use the microwave there for anything else except for a warm pack, but we would put it in the microwave to heat it up and then have the cotton flannel and the castor oil and put it on top of her liver. And yes, we would do it prior to treatment to prepare her body. We do it during, and we also did it after treatment to make sure that we continued to help improving the circumstances. So reducing inflammation, detoxification, hormonal balance, and then optimizing liver function. Let's see. Oh, so inside the kit, you're going to have Queen of Thrones, which is one of the cleanest castor oils there is. In the picture, that was, I don't even remember who that is. Can't even read it from here. But the biggest thing under the word castor oil is hexane free. So if you're not getting it from Queen of Thrones, you want to make sure that it's at least hexane free. Just depends on how they're processing it, and you want to make sure it's a good source. Has anyone else been successful at getting your kids to do castor oil packs?
This was the one thing Cayman complained about. He did not like the way it felt, but we bargained. He got to watch a movie every time that he would do it. I'm like, I don't care. We just have, and we still do it. And like, long story short, all of our stuff got stolen when we first moved into our RV. Our like whole U-Haul got taken, So I didn't have any of our therapies, and we had literally just finished treatment, and Cayman started looking pale. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I like rushed ordered some castor oil and found some of these at a health food store. And within 3 times of using it, his color came back, like from his liver being like detoxed. It's amazing how well these things work. And they're so simple.
It's incredible. It really is. So
I have an embarrassing question. I don't have a label on my liver, so I get confused with the placement, so it makes me not want to do it.
Oh, listen, you want to know a funny story is I started doing them to myself and was putting them on my left side because I was so used to looking at Cayman and it being on my left side. And for the longest time, I was detoxing my spleen and not my liver.
right, maybe your spleen just really needed it.
So can you like draw a picture for me, please, and tell me where to put? I don't know. It just seems so weird to me.
It's on your right side on your ribs. Like just do it on your right side of like right underneath your breast and like the front of your ribs and the back right there.
Yeah. So if it's your right side, so it's going to be it's one of the largest organs. I think it is the largest organ, but it seriously wraps around from front to back here. So you're going to be right underneath your breast and a little bit lower than even your rib cage and all the way around. So obviously when Paisley was so little, I didn't have to worry about it covering it because the castor oil, it was huge. So but yeah, and you'll have if you receive the kit, there are instructions that go along with the wrap in there, and it'll tell you just in case you forget which side it is, and just in case I'm not a mirror or I am in a mirror image here. I don't know how you're seeing me. Your right side. So when you're looking at your child, it's on your left on their body, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? All right.
I always look at the package. I always have to look at the package because it shows it. Or I pull up the website.
Yeah.
I like question myself too. So you're not alone.
So, okay. So the next thing to helping reduce side effects is making sure that we are constantly flushing out or pulling out toxins during treatment. Okay. This is also after treatment. So even if you're into survivorship, right now, Paisley's so good. I swear she's going to be a lawyer. I'm like, you have reached your maximum amount of time on your tablet. And she'll come up to me 30 minutes later and she's like, Mom, I know you said that I've reached my time, but I'm pretty sure you would like me to take a detox bath. And if I take a detox bath, you usually let me watch about 30 minutes of my tablet time. And of course, I make sure that they cover their screen and everything else. So but it's just that again, bargaining, allowing them, because for me, at 3 years old, do you know how hard it is to get a toddler to stay in a tub for that long? And of course, me not wanting to have plastic toys inside the tubby with all these like Zendocrine essential oil, like my mind went to awful places of like, it's going to be pulling toxins from the plastics. And so the only way was to get her to watch a video. So for a detox bath, you can take a picture of this or rewatch it later when we post it and pause it. The ingredients is going to be 1 cup baking soda. The baking soda actually alkalizes, neutralizes, and pulls toxins like drugs and radiation exposure. Then 2 cups Epsom salt. Okay, the Epsom salt has 2 different things in it. One is magnesium. Okay, so that can support enzyme activity, reduce inflammation, helps produce serotonin, right? Relaxing, sleep, all these important things. And then sulfate improves absorption of nutrients, removes toxins through reverse osmosis. So it is optional. Again, if you want to keep things easy, if you don't want to have to be bringing all these essential oils to the hospital. Did we do this in hospital? Yes, we did. Now, it didn't happen as long in the hospital because she didn't like the stick and seal or the seal and press, whatever, and the tubies hanging out. and being in the tub. It was just all of that was too much for her. So if she gave us 5 or 10 minutes, I was happy. I was like, cool, 5 or 10 minutes, we did it. But you can add the same essential oils that I suggested for the castor oil pack. You can add zendocrine, essential oil, rosemary, juniper berry, and typically you want them to soak anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. But again, if you can get 10 minutes, fantastic, call it good.
So I have a question, Shannon. So this brand that we use, this is Salty Tub, which we love. They actually have these really cute Grom. They're called Grom kits that have like a neutralizing tab that you put in. So it's kind of a whole kit. It's expensive though to buy the whole Grom kit. The salts and everything Shannon's saying here do the same job. But in their kit, they put apple cider vinegar. Is that something that you guys used, or is that more? I don't know. I'm just curious as to what the apple cider vinegar does, or if it's something that is helpful or more aimed at adults.
I'm sure it can be helpful. I've also seen people add bentonite clay. There's so many different things that you can add. I've actually even added the bentonite clay. So I know that they have perfected this and added different things. And I love the fact that they already have neutralizers in there too, because it's not just alkalinizing the water, but it's neutralizing the chemicals that could also be in the water. Side note, they also have bath balls, which can help with, you just put it on the faucet and the water then is filtered before it gets into the bath. So that you don't have to worry about some of the chemicals that are in the bath as well.
Their mom kits, they have one called Crimson Tide, which is for that time when you're on your period, that time of the month. It's dreamy. I love that it's called Crimson Tide too. But they have a link. We also have their link on our website, and they give Kick Cancer back 20%. So if you guys ever want to order these, go through the link because they give us a big kickback. They're big supporters.
Well, that's interesting because usually soaking in a bath is not something I feel like doing on my period, but you know.
Right? Maybe it's before. I don't know. They have all kinds. Most of them are aimed at adults. They just have one kit specifically for kids, but I've tried a lot of them and they're all quite lovely.
Okay, so none of this stuff is in the Kickstart kit, but these are great options, easy options. I wish that we could put an infrared sauna lamp or light inside the kits for everybody, Lumo, but we're not able to provide those. However, these are really supportive therapies. So you also have fasting is a great thing, cold plunging, not that you could probably get your 3-year-old to do it unless you know, you just challenge them like, oh, I bet you can't do it. Grounding, getting their shoes off, getting their socks off, you know, walking on the ground in the grass, oil pulling. I never would have been able to be successful with my younger child doing this then or even now. But if you are able to, oil pulling is really great for mucositis. And just removing a lot of that bacteria in their mouths. And then sunlight therapy, actually just being in the sun early in the morning, getting that light onto their skins outside. Anybody else have any experience with these, getting their kids to do these things?
We used to do sauning, and we still do, but when she had a port in, the doctor was like, no, do not do that. And the theory, I was like, well, why not? And she was more of a holistic doctor, Dr. Horvath, if you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she was saying that because like there could be like, I think their fear was that bacteria are surrounding the port and it like flushing it out. So anyway, so I would like let her in temporarily in and out, but it kind of cautiously, but
yeah,
usually to like fight off illness or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, and I think that would be the same thought process as far as allowing them to swim when they're accessed, which they don't suggest that either because of the bacteria. And,
no, not access, but having a port installed. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like having a port. Not that it
Yes.
was actively in, not, there was no needle sticking out. And also
Yeah.
another thing, like when you have hot tubs, they would say, don't let children stay in too long because the heat is bad for their heart. So that was just my caution. But now as she's older, I'm like, okay, you're sauning.
Yeah. Yeah. And with everything, I think it's to be at your discretion, right? Appropriate time for these things. So I think red light is good anytime. I think maybe sauna, just you could wait, or but that's really under your discretion. So anybody else able to use any of these therapies?
We did the sauna throughout the entire 3 years, even with him having a port. We worked with Dr. Degmara, and she was big on him sauna. I don't know if he was ever accessed whenever we did it. St. Jude always like took his out. They did a lot of hospital stuff a lot differently than other hospitals, but I think they would give us those aqua pures, and there was like a sticker that would go on the outside of his port when he was accessed, and we would still sauna the entire time, and he loved it. He loved getting in there with an audiobook and just laying in the warm heat.
I love that they have different things available now that back then. So thank you, Savannah, for that.
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, I was just gonna say, we just had Emmett do a lot of laying in the sun before 10 a.m., especially when he was on the chemos that were sun sensitive. And he loved that. It felt good. And thankfully it was warm enough here in Wisconsin at that time, but I believe in the sun very much. So that was a big deal. I was like, get out in the sun.
Yes, and thankful for the warmth. You guys have a lot of cold. Okay, so getting to the end here, an important thing to remember amongst all this of like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. Still just staying calm, choosing joy, creating those joyful moments, not only for your kid, but for yourself. This is a very stressful time. So creating an environment that is not emotionally toxic can assist in healing and reduction of side effects. And I know this is probably hitting the gut of so many of you right now because it's hard. This is a really hard one. I think harder than applying an essential oil or a castor oil pack. This is the thing that's the most difficult. And so I would cling to 1 Peter 1:6-9 and still do. It's one of my favorites. Still pretty difficult to read even still when we go through difficult times or remembering that time. But 1 Peter 1:6-9 is, in all this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. Though you have not seen him, or even though you do not see him now, you believe in him and are filled with an inexpressible and glorious joy, for you are receiving the end result of your faith, the salvation of your souls. So I hope that just rests with you right now, and cling to the idea of just taking it 15 minutes at a time, creating those joyous moments, not forgetting to laugh, not forgetting to be silly, to dance, to do the things, because they are watching you. They are feeling your stress, your emotions. So if you are a childhood cancer family, and I'm saying that just in case there are people with cancer that are adults as well, but if you are a childhood cancer family, you are welcome to apply for a Kickstart kit at KICKcancERmovement.org for only $9.99 for shipping. So everything else is either donated or covered by funds. But if you are an adult as well, there is a free PDF download with all the contents that are in there. And then of course the links to get them at a discounted price. And a lot of those places also give kickbacks to Kick Cancer as well when you order. So I hope any of this was helpful to you guys, and feel free to continue to add anything else that's on your heart that maybe you wanted to talk about, something else that was not on the screen through your kids' treatment. Anything?
I have something.
Yes.
I actually want Erin to weigh in real quick.
Hi, Erin.
So right away you talked about like food and antioxidants and stuff. And Erin has been the carrot juicer. So do you want to just talk about that?
Oh, sure.
You want to hold my phone?
So, you know, we really love carrot juicing, and we've seen pretty tremendous benefits from it. You know, we just take a bag of organic carrots, 1 or 2 pounds, and we juice it. We have an incredible juicer. I forget what it's called. But we juice it with a lime, because the lime, the antioxidant in the lime, the vitamin C, preserves the vitamin A. So we juice it with a lime and then maybe some organic apples, and it's really great. And it tastes good. So
Yeah, so there's a lot of blood building benefits to carrot juicing. It's from Chris Beats Cancer, I think, is where you kind of first got that from. But we feel like Emmett's hemoglobin recovered really well from the carrot juicing. So it was just always, Erin always did it the day before treatment and the day of treatment. So, and we try to do it now in maintenance on the methotrexate day, methotrexate day. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for saying that, because I actually forgot that this was something that we did, and I hadn't watched Chris Beats Cancer before diagnosis, so I didn't know anything about it. But Paisley called it her purple juice because we did carrots, beets, and green apples. And that was her purple juice. And I would just say the key to that is when they start looking orange, back off. Because their skin will start to look orange and you're like, oh, too much, too much purple juice. So, but yeah. Anybody else?
I would say letting them not take supplements for a weekend and just being a kid for one weekend and not even mentioning the word cancer. We did this a couple of times throughout Cayman's cancer treatment. And when we would go the next Tuesday to get his numbers checked, they would always be so much higher. But just because of the emotions and being able to like not take supplements, be with family, we would take like a small camping trip and we would just be like not cancer family for 3 days. And it like his soul, like I think every kid just kind of just needs like a break of like all the meals, all the juicing, and just like to get away for a little bit emotionally. And it was like one of the best things we did through cancer treatment.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that.
I love that. To piggyback on that, I had a cancer mama like 3 days in who it was just a God story, but I went to my doctor's appointment for labs and the lady was like, take her out in nature every single day. And
Yeah.
it would, and we live in Huntington Beach, which I mean, there's a beach, but we're in like an urban area. And it was such a great, like, it was on our list, like brushing teeth. And just like how you were asking, how do you get them to exercise? And it was like, you must go for a walk daily. That was like on our checklist, brush teeth, go for a walk, you know, and ideally go in nature if you were not in the hospital. So I thought that was some great advice, and it was like lifted your soul and mental well-being as well. So
yeah,
thanks for
and
mentioning.
There's also sun exposure. There's potential grounding. There's creating joyful moments, all wrapped up in that.
Yeah, just a simple walk after dinner is what we did as a family. I think doing like just making sure like knowing that like it's not just you that's in this, like we're all in this together, and we would all together as a family clean up from dinner and then go for like a quick little just 10-15 minute walk, and like it would be such a great ending to the day. And I would always make him go barefoot, like the grounding. I was like, go barefoot, walk on the grass. Thankfully, we lived in a really rural area where people didn't spray, but if they spray, put on shoes.
Yep. Just
wear shoes unless you're in your own backyard.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. And I know that this will be incredibly helpful to those in the future who are walking through it. So thank you for being vulnerable and speaking your experience, because this is all about being connected and knowing that you're not alone, that we're all here in this together, whether we're in survivorship or I would love to even be here for some grieving families and having things coming up to help support trauma in the future. So we just want to say that we love you guys and we hope that you have a great week. Praying for anybody who is in the path of Milton. And Dana, did you have anything?
I was just going to invite you all to next month. I know that we're entering the holidays, which just feels so bizarre to say. I feel like we just came off summer. But next month, I don't know the exact date, but it's always the second Wednesday of the month, same time. We're going to have Mark McAfee will be joining us. And for those of you who don't know who he is with Raw Farm. And he is just a wealth of knowledge and has like the most amazing energy. But he's going to talk to us about just the value of raw milk and kefir. And I know, well, he'll probably discuss like he's in a mess with the FDA right now, just because they have him under a microscope. So he can talk about some of the things that he did with Seasoned Sun Kicker. So yeah, it should be a really interesting call. We'd love to have you guys join us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's boosting the immune system amidst while they're tearing it down. So it's it's going to be a great call. So thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Take care.